Time to fly, time to fly. Never give up, we won't retreat. The ones who stand up.
Hello friends, and welcome again to another Street Fighter Duel video.
Okay, legends, welcome back to the security training part 3 with Gouken this time as a boss, and he's very annoying and he inflicts silence and he have 2 Ryu to back him up, but it's not like Gouken himself is pretty annoying, no, but he have also Ryus to help him out with the damages and make our runs miserable. But we found some solutions and I'm gonna tell you about them, and we're gonna talk a little bit about them and show you the results and what we did and some lineups that I tried and they were successful. But the things about it that I want to talk about is his silence. His silence is his third ability, which is passive. Whenever you trigger a super, he will go and march against you and hit you, and he has a 100% chance to inflict silence. Now if you have a resist, of course you might resist the silence and not get silenced, which will happen if you have good RNG. And there's some other characters that can dispel this silence because it doesn't sell. It doesn't say anything that it's not dispellable. So you can remove the silence using Summer Elena, using Divination Rose, using the EX of Summer Elena, using T-Hawk as an assist, and many other options if you have them. So we're gonna go and talk about the fight. Right now I'm ranking 5, which is absolutely nice. Now ranking in the top 3 will give you the special summon tickets for this collab. If you are not aiming for that, you want to lower your score a little bit, that's alright, because it's smart also if you're waiting for the 50% half anniversary divination. If they will give us there's no 100% confirmation about giving us the divination, but because it's a tradition, they did it twice and this is the 3rd time, so I bet they're gonna do it with another character. So let's go and check the lineups. So I'm gonna show you these lineups that I have. They did absolutely fantastic. Now of course I'm using the EX of Summer Elena on my first lineup with Fire Aidon, and I'm using Rose. Rose will give us HP and she will regenerate us and will relapse the time. So if we drop back on HP, she will give us back with her turrets or with her passive, so we can sustain and keep going. And she will buff us of course with her C2 and her passives. The lineup that we're doing and the combo, the rotation, it's normal. Rich Honda, Street Poison, Rose, then Fire Aidon. Sometimes Fire Aidon gets silenced. This is why I have the EX move of Summer Elena. Because if I start with Rich Honda, he's gonna get silenced. It's okay. I can wait a little bit and use the C1 of Street Poison, C2 of Rose, then C3 of Fire Aidon. By the time that the combo or the rotation is done, I can start with Rich Honda. Sometimes Rich Honda resists the silence, so I can go back to back until he gets silenced, so we can delay it a little bit. If Fire Aidon gets silenced, because he's my main carry, I stop everything. I use the EX move of Summer Elena and unlock his abilities again, so he can be free and not silenced again, and go with his C3. And by the end of the fight, because the firewall will be sacking underneath Gouken and Ryu's, because you're gonna be in the end of the map on your wall, stacked all of you together, so we don't want to take that much of damage because of the AoE that Gouken does. So I drop the EX move of Virgil. Everybody survives. The fire keeps dealing damage, and because I have Witch Jury on top of our Fire Aidon. Yes, play Witch Jury on top of him if you're free to play or low spender and you want to sustain a little bit, because he will regenerate health, because he's on top with his C3 in the front, taking the most damage from the Ryus and from Gouken when they do their auto attacks or they do their spells other than the spell that is for silence. So he will regenerate health, the walls will deal damage to the end of the fight, and you can deal, as you see, 87 seconds in the fight, so 3 seconds, and if I got 3 seconds more and the fire was burning them, I will be getting higher scores. 3 billion damage is not a bad number. You can do even better and get more scores. The second lineup for me that is working completely fine, which is anybody who built Visconti Vega. Now, of course, if you build Overlord Bison, I'm gonna go throughout Santos teams and I will show you Overlord Bison how it works. But with Visconti Vega, I'm using Summer Elena, I'm using normal Elena, and I'm using Suit Able. Now of course I'm using something else, which is Gen Assist. Actually was super good, because sometimes Gen Assist or the shadow clone of Gen goes in the front and take the hit of the silence, and he will be silenced, which we don't care about, and we can continue our rotations. Now of course Visconti Vega, because I start with him, use the C1 of Elena, the C2 of Abel, and give us shield and help us a lot. Everybody are healing. I use his C3. If Summer Elena did not proc the Dispel and he was not dispelled from the silence, I can start with him, he gets silenced, wait a little bit, use the C1 of Elena, wait also a little bit, not so much, a little bit, use the C2 of Abel, Suit Abel, and then use his C3 Visconde Vega, and it's only 5 seconds of silence, so it will be convenient and you will deal high numbers of scores. As you see, he's the only one to deal damage. Barely anybody did any type of damages. Summer Elena is dealing damage because she jumped in the front, and she have 3 seconds window of immunity, so she takes the full damage. Even if she's silenced, it doesn't matter, it's a trigger. Whenever you trigger your attacks, she will trigger her passives, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm using the Crazy Potato EX move for some protection because it will help you a lot. It's kind of like my personal Virgil EX. If you don't have Virgil EX, this could help you on the first lineup as well. I'm using his own EX move because it's absolutely fantastic. It will lose some HP from him, but boosts his damage perfectly a lot, I think for 6 seconds. And Trendy Guile EX move is one of the great EX move. You can check the tier list of EX moves that I did and have more information about them. Now, the third lineup and the fourth lineup. I want to show you here, before I show you the rotations. So battle reports, I did one rotation here. I think, yeah, I got, with the turtles, 750 million. Absolutely was a good rotation, and it was good RNG. So it will give you high numbers, but I failed in my last attempt. It was my best score because my first 2 teams did a lot and my second teams did not do good as I hoped. In one lineup also, I think, yes, here, the Dalsim team with Bison. Bison soaked all the damages. Dalsim did give us a lot of damage and carried us. As you see, Bison, because of his explosion, he took a lot of damage. He's the one to take the damage. I start with his super, so he takes a lot of damage, explode, and everybody else are happy with dealing damage with Dalsim, which is absolutely fantastic. And I'm using Luke. Luke is debuffing either Ryu, either Gouken, either the other Ryu. It doesn't matter. Whoever debuff on him, we will deal a lot of damage against them, but it's most likely to be on Gouken when we jump on Gouken and deal the damage reduction. This is why the damages were absolutely insane. Of course, I'm using the Kami and Vega EX on this lineup when I was using it. Now I use the Virgil EX here. You can use it here, or you can use the Crazy Potato, or you can use any type of healing other than that, like the Sakura Rain. You can use any type of shields if you want to use. The Gouken EX move also will help you with a bit of shields, so keep that in mind. And let's talk about the last lineup, which is the TMNT. So the TMNT, this lineup is absolutely perfect. Why? Because mainly Gouken whiffs his attack when you start with Leonardo most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. You start with Leonardo, and because Leonardo starts from behind, and then Gouken goes to the behind to kill him, while Leonardo go to the front to deal damage. So Gouken whiffs his entire attack and hits the air, and this is what happens with us. And then we continue with Abel, Action Guy, Leonardo, back to back, back to back. When Leonardo gets silenced, you need to wait a little bit just with the C1 of Abel, then drop it, then wait a little bit and use the Guy, C2, then the C3 of Leonardo, and everything will be great. The Pizza EX move, remember that the Pizza EX move, you need to start it at the start of the battle. Whenever it starts and you have it unlocked, just press it, you will get the stacks, and by the end of the battle you can use it again before the boss kills you, and you will take the 2 damage of the 2 immunity seconds to not take damage and take fatal damage and wipe and clear the team. So this will help you and work out for you. I will show you the runs, I will show you the replays. It's really fantastic. And what I want to talk about before we go there is another team that Islam Santos is using, which is the Bison team. This team, you can copy it. As you see, 1.7 billion damage, which is absolutely great and fantastic. You can use the same lineup, 2 Bisons, Athlete, Chun-Li, and Action Guy. Now you can replace Action Guy with whoever you want. If you have Luke built, you can replace him with Luke because he's playing on tag and it works from tag position. The damages from Overlord Bison is insane because they will keep exploding and dying, which is really good. And as you see, Athlete Chun-Li with her C1 will protect the lineup, and she will jump up in the sky. Whenever she's in the sky, she's avoiding damage. She's the most one to avoid damage and survive by the end of the battle, until the end of the battle, 90 seconds, as you see here, which is really, really great. He's using Visconde Vega at SS and still working. He's dealing amazing amount of damage, which is really perfect. Dalsim, of course, he's a main core. And we're using Fire Adon. He's using different lineup instead of Rose Leonardo or Donatello. If you have Donatello, he works as well because he will evade or not take immunity. He will be immune and not take fatal damage for a specific time of period, 1 time at least in battle. So let's go and check our replays. So this is the first lineup. Let's go and check it out. I'll go to X4 until we reach almost 51 seconds, and I'm gonna show you how we did the scores and the damages, which was really good actually. I didn't think that this run will be that good, but it was successful. So here we go. And almost here, yeah, and I dropped the Akuma EX move just to get the buffs, and here we go, and I start with Rich Honda. He's silenced, I use the C1, the C2, the C3, and then he was unsilenced, so I use his super C1, C2, C3. As you see, he didn't get silenced, so sometimes we resist, we don't get silenced, and we can continue. I resisted again, I used it one more time, and if he gets silenced or anybody gets silenced, I use the EX move of Summer Elena to remove the silence. So here, Fire Adon was silenced, I use the EX move, he's not silenced anymore, and we're dealing damage, and I continue to deal damage. Rose is helping us with heals so we can survive, and I use the EX move by the end because I thought that if I start this combo, everybody will die. And look at Fire Adon, he almost died, but he regenerated because of Witch Jury on him, and we dealt the most amount of damages. And as you see, everybody is dying. We continue, we have some rotations, and we use them. And that's it, that's all what she wrote. Maybe if I didn't start the combo, I would have a little bit of time to deal even more damage, which is absolutely fantastic. That was a great run. Now, the second lineup, which is my Visconde Vega lineup, this is how it go. And we're gonna go to X4 also at almost 52, 53 or 51 seconds. I start the battle. I use his EX move before I start. It will consume a lot of his HP, but we have 3 healers on the team and 1 shielder, 1 debuffer if you wanna count it towards that. And this is why I'm sure of this lineup. I have no issues with it. So here we go. I use the EX move. I start with him. Summer Elena dropped. As you see, he's silenced, but I use the C1 and the C2 slowly on my... I let him cook. He just basically cooked them with his EX, with his super, with his bleeds. And another EX move, as you see, she removed the silence so we can go back to back, and I did that. And when he's silenced, I use the C2 off Suitable slowly, then I use his C3. You will never whiff it. It's a good, consistent lineup. It's a safe lineup to play. Our Suitable got stunned or got silenced, which doesn't matter. We also continue our rotation and lineup. Completely perfect, and he's dealing a lot of damage because it's multiple targets, it's AoE. And here we go, and Abel died. So we start with Visconde Vega again, but we will die with him, which doesn't matter. We did the damages, and we're taking a lot of damage. If we start with Summer Elena, as you see, she have damage immunity, so it doesn't matter, we don't die. Which is really good, actually. Let us put some points on bleed again and take more damage. And this is the TMNT run. Yes, 500 million is good, but I can do better. So hopefully we can do better in next runs. This is the lineup. I'm using Raphael on the main lineup. If he's built a little bit more, maybe I will do even better damages. Yeah, playing Michelangelo will help you with his C2, but you can use Guy C2, Action Guy C2 is absolutely great. So here we go, we start, and we got silenced with Leonardo. It doesn't matter, we will get the C2 of Action Guy, and we use his C3 again, which is absolutely good. And then I use his super again, and we didn't get silenced, so we can go back to back and use our combos, which is really good. Whenever you get silenced, just wait for Abel. As you see here, we got silenced. We used Abel a little bit slower than the C2 of Guy and the C3 of Leonardo again. And again, we started with Leonardo. This time, Raphael got silenced and damage, which we don't care. So we used back-to-back the lineup, and we continued. And here we go. C1 of Abel, because I knew if I didn't use it, Leonardo will die because there's no shields, which is... a little bit was bad for me, but hey, it worked. And I used the C2 of Leonardo because Guy died. Yeah, it's a little bit of RNG sometimes if you're silenced or not, but it depends on your run. So keep trying until you get the best results with that. As you saw, I use the pizza by the start and by the end, which is really good. This lineup, which I like a lot, but it's also super RNG. So immediately I start the battle, I wait like 2 seconds, 3 seconds or something like that, and I start with Fashion Blanca. He will get silenced, we don't care, he will continue his attack. Use the C1 of Dalsim, then use the C2 of Luke, then the C3 of Bison. Then because we use Cami and Vega EX, we can start with Dalsim, use the C1 of anybody else, which will be Fashion Blanca, then the C2 of Luke, then the C3 of Dalsim again. And here, Fashion Blanca was the one to be silenced. Sometimes it happens because he will be up front, so he will take the damage. And here we go, Bison is taking all the damage. And I don't care here. As you see, I wait for Bison, he explodes and finishes. And I start with him, his attack. I start with Bison, because Bison will take the silence, he will not die, and I will keep dealing so much damage. And here we go. Fashion Blanca died, which is okay by me. I will start with Dalsim, then go with Bison C1, and then with the C2 of Luke. So even Dalsim destroyed. We couldn't do anything. So I'm gonna start with Bison, I think. With Luke, then C1 of Bison, and that's all what she wrote. If I had Overlord Bison, I think I would play him on this lineup because both of them will not die and keep exploding, which will be nice. And I'll play somebody from behind like Dalsim to use his C3. I'll maybe try it with my A rank or A plus rank Overlord Bison. I think it will make the lineup consistent, but I need to keep myself in check that Dalsim will not get hit or get damaged. So I need to play heal and defensive EX move such as the Gouken one. And yeah, that was it for the lineups. Now, you can play Divination Rose as a C1 because she dispels silences with a 30% chance. You can play T-Hawk as an assist on anybody. So if you start with them with the super combo, they get silenced, T-Hawk jumps, and then he will remove the silence. By some chance, it doesn't always get successful. I don't know, maybe it's bugged, but this is another way for you to remove it. Summer Elena EX move as well, and Summer Elena herself will remove debuffs or remove some of these silences, and other units that have the same mechanic, you can use them on the lineup. But this is so far the most 4 successful ways to remove the silence, and you get yourself some good scores and put yourself in the top 10. And yeah, that was it for the video.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, we thank you for watching. And as always, stay frosty. Peace.
Time to fight, time to fight.